I didn't find out my marriage was over in a quiet argument. I didn't find out at home. I found out in a crowded restaurant, with strangers watching, and my wife walking toward me like she was about to burn her own life down. And the worst part? She still thought she was in control. If you've ever trusted someone completely, only to discover they were living a second life behind your back, this story will hit close to home. Take a second right now, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you're listening from. Because this isn't just a cheating story. This is a story about truth, power, and what happens when lies finally run out of places to hide that I didn't suspect anything the night my laptop died. That's the part people never understand. Betrayal doesn't announce itself with alarms or dramatic music. It slips in through routine, through trust. It was a Tuesday. Quiet. Boring. The kind of night marriages are built on. My work laptop, 6 years old, dependable, finally gave up. Black screen. No warning. I had expense reports due by morning, so I did what any married man of 7 years would do. I opened my wife's laptop. Her name was Laura. We were both in our late 40s. No kids. Stable jobs. A marriage people described as solid. She was out that night. Dinner with friends, she'd said. She'd been doing that a lot lately. The files printed quickly. I was already reaching to close the laptop when a small notification appeared in the corner of the screen. A messaging app one didn't recognize. One line of preview text. Last weekend was incredible. I still can't stop thinking about it. The sender's name was just initials. Emmer. I stared at the screen longer than I want to admit. This is nothing, I told myself. Friends joke. Context matters. That voice, the one that protects your peace, is persuasive. But instinct doesn't whisper. It tightens your chest. I clicked. The conversation opened, and months of messages poured out. Hundreds. Photos. Hotel names. Weekend plans disguised as errands. Complaints about work, about stress about me. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I sat at the kitchen counter, breathing slowly, scrolling through proof that my marriage had been dissolving quietly while I was still showing up every day. The pain wasn't sharp. It was heavy. Like realizing the ground beneath you isn't solid. It just hasn't collapsed yet. I took screenshots. Every message. Every image. I uploaded them to a cloud account she didn't know existed. Then I closed the laptop exactly how I found it. When Laura came home 2 hours later, she kissed the top of my head and told me about a movie she hadn't seen, with friends she hadn't been with. Her voice didn't shake. Her eyes didn't blink too fast. She was disturbingly good at lying. That night, I lay awake beside her, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe. And I realized something terrifying. The woman next to me wasn't who I thought I married. The next morning, after she left for work, I went back to the messages. This time, I looked for him. Michael Reynolds. Early 40s. Logistics job. Married. 2 kids. His wife's name was Karen. It took some careful searching, but I found her email. I stared at the blank draft for 2 days. How do you tell a stranger her life isn't real? Eventually, I kept it simple. I introduced myself as Daniel. I said I believed our spouses were involved. I said I had proof. Then I hit send before I could change my mind. 2 days passed. Then my phone buzzed. Can we meet? I need to see everything. We chose a coffee shop across town. Neutral ground. When Karen walked in, I recognized the look immediately. Exhaustion. Confusion. That quiet dread of someone who already knows the answer but needs confirmation. She didn't waste time. Show me. For 40 minutes, she scrolled. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just nodded slowly, like someone finally understanding a language she'd been forced to learn overnight. I knew something was wrong, she said quietly. Same, I told her. And in that silence, something formed. Not friendship, recognition. We weren't crazy. What do you want to do about it? Karen asked. The question changed everything. I don't know yet, I said. I just know I can't pretend anymore. That afternoon, I called a lawyer. Richard. Calm. Direct. Document everything, he said. Don't confront yet. Information gives you leverage. Emotion gives you mistakes. At home, Laura became more affectionate, more attentive. She touched my arm in the hallway, asked questions she hadn't asked in months. I matched her energy. It felt like acting in my own life. Karen and I met again. Compared notes, statements, timelines. They really thought we wouldn't notice, she said. That hurt more than the cheating. Being betrayed is painful. Being underestimated is insulting. By the second week, something shifted inside me. The anger burned out. What remained was focus. I changed passwords, secured documents, moved personal items quietly. Laura noticed. "Everything okay?" she asked one night. "Just tired," I said. Not a lie. Just incomplete. Karen asked me one afternoon, "Are you angry at me?" "No," I said immediately. They made their choices. We're just dealing with the aftermath. That night, Laura leaned against me and whispered, "I love you." I said it back. Timing matters. Silence raises questions that we agreed to meet for dinner. Public, busy, neutral. Karen arrived first. Calm, composed. 40 minutes in, the atmosphere shifted. A voice cut through the room. "Laura." She walked toward the table like a storm. "Are you serious right now?" she snapped. I stayed seated. "Laura," I said calmly. "This is Karen." She froze. "Michael's wife." The color drained from her face in stages. "You set me up," she hissed. "No, Olympia. You did that yourself." I just stopped protecting the lie. The room was silent. "I found the messages weeks ago," I said. "I want you out of the apartment by the weekend." She fled. "Truth doesn't need volume. At home," she exploded. "You humiliated me. You're worried about humiliation now?" I asked. She cried, begged, bargained. "We can fix this." "No," I said. "Divorce papers will be served tomorrow." "You're throwing away 7 years." "It wasn't a mistake," I replied. "It was a pattern. I hate you." "Good. That'll make this cleaner." I locked the bedroom door and sat on the bed. For the first time in weeks, I felt relief. She moved out while I was at work, left the key on the counter. 3 months later, I signed the final documents. 7 years reduced to ink. I rearranged the apartment, slept better, laughed easier. When Laura reached out months later, I wished her well and closed the door. One morning, I sat on the balcony with coffee, watching the city wake up. No buzzing phone, no lies to manage. Peace is quiet, and it's earned. Betrayal doesn't destroy you. Staying silent does. There's a moment when you stop being the person something happened to and become the person who decides what happens next. That moment changes everything. If this story hit close to home, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. Who do you think was right in this husband-wife debate? And if you believe honesty matters, even when it costs. I'll see you in the next story.